All right, we're live. Welcome to another Q&A strategy session. I'm Jeannie Petrucci, registered dietitian, nutritionist, culinary coach, and expert nutrition content creator. And I'm super excited today to welcome my colleague and friend, Stephanie Hofenke. Hi, Stephanie.
Hi, Jeannie. Thank you so much for having me back. I'm Stephanie Hofenke, owner of String Marketing. We've been around for about 12 years helping nutrition entrepreneurs like yourselves do branding and marketing and increase their leads and increase their revenue. So
all good
love
stuff.
working with you guys. Yeah.
All good stuff. All right. I'm looking to the side here because I'm just doing a quick tech check here. Terrific. So we are actually streaming to 3 platforms today. We're streaming into our private Facebook group. We're also streaming into LinkedIn. We have a significant number of our practitioners who prefer that platform, and then also YouTube. So we're trying to find you where you are. Great. So today is our twice monthly Q&A office hour and strategy call. And I host this for our community and really for anybody who wants to join twice per month. And every other week, I actually invite an expert guest. And today, Stephanie is joining me as my expert guest. And we're going to be having even more conversations about marketing because our part one, Stephanie, right? We announced our collaboration. So Stephanie and I collaborate to bring Living Play to RX courses and other content to your communities. When I say your communities, a practitioner. So Stephanie really supports us with the vehicle, right? Stephanie, is that accurate?
Right. Yeah, right.
With the vehicle for delivering our content, but Stephanie also can accelerate that vehicle with marketing strategies. So we're going to be talking a little bit more about that today. And here, Stephanie, you just want to let people know where they can find you. Are you on LinkedIn?
Yeah, you can find me on LinkedIn. Look, Stephanie Hofenke. You can see the spelling of my name there. Feel free to reach out to me there. You can also check out our website at stringmarketing.com. You can find information about the collaboration there as well, as far as branding courses and things like that. But also, if you're needing help in the branding marketing area, feel free to grab a time with me on our discovery call link there on our website.
And we have a bunch of people joining us in the private Facebook group. Hi, Debbie, LF Jen. Jen said, 2 of my favorite ladies that help RDs so much. Yeah.
Hi, Jen.
What's cool about our collaboration, Stephanie's and mine, is that we do serve the same audience. We serve mostly nutrition and also health and wellness professionals. So registered dietitians, but also health coaches and anybody who has an interest in nutrition as part of their practice. Hey, Mimi. Oh, Mimi, hello from Atlanta. Good to see you here. So Stephanie, we're going to be talking about a bunch of different things. We have some kind of hot topics here today. But the one thing that I wanted to just kind of ask you to review before anybody starts thinking about how they're going to scale their brand and market their products and all of that, what would a brand assessment look like? Because I think sometimes, we, as practitioners, we just want to get started. So we slap together a brand and we kind of move forward. But sometimes it's in our best interest to take a step back and assess our brand and maybe rework it. So what does your process look like at String Marketing for that?
Yeah, absolutely. When we look at a brand or at a business in general, we want to look at some key areas. From a brand standpoint, we really want to see how focused you are. Your niche, how clear is it who you're speaking to? If you try to speak to too many people, your message is going to get lost. It's a very loud, busy world online and off. And so you need to be crystal clear about who you're speaking to and what keeps them up at night, right? Can we identify from your branding and your messaging what keeps your clients up at night? What worries them the most? And what problem are you solving for them? And then from there, obviously, you need the technology that's going to support you, a smooth experience for your clients. The look and the feel is a big part of building trust with your clients. And so we evaluate that. You want a cohesive message as far as the content, but you also want cohesive look and feel because that helps build trust in you as a practitioner and doesn't make it so you have so much work on your end to build that trust from scratch when you get on the phone with them. So you want to do that before they even meet you. So yeah, it's messaging. It's who you're talking to, what your look and feel is, of course. And then, of course, the technology that backs you up is always a smooth user experience. A customer experience online is very important these days. That's a make it or break it now.
It's true. I mean, the vehicle is only as good as the quality of content that it's delivering. That's kind of, I've been repeating that a lot today. But the focus has to be on the technology and the user experience. So in addition to providing evidence-based content that speaks to your clients' problems, right, and their barriers to making changes, the experience has to be good, because that's how you stay competitive, right? If you're not, if you're still using like Dropbox and Google Docs and all of that to kind of distribute content to your clients, it's not going to be the highest level of professionalism, which is really, I repeat that also to my community. You really want to present the highest level of professionalism possible. And that's really like baseline, don't you think, Stephanie?
Yeah, absolutely. And you'll know it in your practice, because you'll be too busy doing a lot of communication that's outside of delivery of your one-on-ones or of your material. And you're having to do a lot of support, a lot of explaining, all of those kind of things. And we try to minimize all of that, because you want people's questions to be answers as they're thinking about it. And that really, that user experience on there is it's very, very important now.
I wanted to share this concept that I'm listening to I think it's called The Brand Story. It's an Audible book. It's just so good. It's one of those audio books that let me just see. Building a Brand Story by Donald Miller, like must read.
Donald Miller.
And it's great. One of those audiobooks where you're walking and you have to keep stopping. So my timing on my mile is not so great this week, because I keep stopping and making notes, because so much of what he talks about, it can be applied to health and wellness practitioners. And, and it's so cool, because a lot of what he talks about speaks to health behavior theory and identifying your consumers' problems, like your clients' problems. So Stephanie, when you talked about, one of the more important things is to clearly not only identify your client, but identify the problems. Now, when I say problem is usually a barrier that is preventing them from meeting their health goals, right? But even high level problems.
Yeah. And I would say a lot of times clients don't, from a practitioner standpoint, you can identify that there might be a problem, but they might not know that's their problem. So you have to know how they identify their problem.
Well,
how do they speak of it, even if it's not what you would say that root issue is, or the root cause of their problem is, but how do they speak about that? And we have to do a lot of education when we're doing it in projects, especially when it comes to content, where it's like, okay, well, I understand you want to say it this way because that's your philosophy. Right. But your clients are thinking this. And so if we don't say it the same way, they're just not going to identify them as in the right spot. So think about it from it's really hard to read the label from inside the bottle. So get outside perspectives on what that means and listen to their words. If you have the opportunity, say things in the exact same way they would say it. Even if it's not within your exact philosophy, and you'll get their attention. Then you have the opportunity, once you have their attention, to reorient the way that they're looking at things. And that's really after the purchase, right? You're reorienting them after the purchase. So your marketing materials really has to speak their language.
Exactly. Debbie is saying that's an awesome point. How they identify their problems, and is it most of the time when you're creating your marketing content, you're really targeting it towards internal problems, not external problems, right? Yeah. An external problem might be, I need to balance my blood sugars. Yeah. That's not a problem. That's not an internal problem that your client doesn't feel that. They know that, but they don't feel that. What they feel is the frustration that they can't manage their blood sugars because of blank. And guess what that blank is? That's where all of your marketing efforts go to. I can't manage my blood sugars because I don't know what types of breakfasts to make, or I don't know how to meal plan for pre-diabetes, for example. So, when you're identifying problems, and just, think about this as you're going through your kind of marketing or your brand assessment, Think internal, external. And I'm talking to our consumers. Stephanie, I know you know all this already, but yeah, think internal, external, right? External is like the obvious problem, which most people actually speak to, and it's really not effective for marketing. You really want to hit an emotion. Are they frustrated? Are they, do they feel like they're failing all the time? Just really, and sometimes it's ugly, but that's okay, because guess what?
Yeah.
You're going to provide the solution, right?
Right. The comfort is coming, right?
Yes, exactly. Somebody is asking the name of the book, please. It's called Building a Brand Story. Building a Brand Story. It is a must listen. The next one that you need to read is This is Marketing by Seth Godin. So those are kind of the two books that I've read and now rereading because they're just so good. So Marsha, I just dropped that name. Okay, perfect. All right, so let's move on to one of the first things that we're going to be talking about, which is, here we go. Positioning your brand with collaborative content. So Stephanie, you have a lot of clients who come to you to kind of either create their brand or clean up their brand. And really the work that you guys do is, let me just say, outstanding. All of our members who, I'm like obsessed with their logos. You guys do such a great job. Really, really good. And the content on their websites and everything, just really great. So they're experts and they're using expert content from somebody else. How are you, and I know there's a lot of flexibility here, but we get this question a lot, like, how do I communicate with my audience that obviously it's not my hands in the cooking demos in my course, right? Because Living Plate RX is providing that, and typically they're my hands or our contractors' hands. So what do you think is a smart way to position that?
Yeah. So one thing I'd like to point out is that, people don't expect one practitioner to know all of the things. You don't have to be a culinary expert. You don't have to be, an expert in all the different areas, but you are an expert in certain areas. And so really knowing those areas where you're providing your expertise and infusing those into no matter what label content it is, that this part is, in your experience, or here's a client experience that relates to this, things like that shows your expertise, but leveraging experts outside. So for instance, the chef's course is a great example. Not all RDs are culinary experts. And are even interested in doing the whole recipe thing, so as you might be somebody who focuses on IBS, but you need some support with people need to know how to cook in their own kitchens if they're going to be able to follow your guidelines. And so this is a value added. And for you to be able to say, you know what, I'm not a culinary expert, but these guys are, and I've collaborated with them to bring this to you. That makes you look like a rock star. It makes you look connected. And I think that's important. So when you're taking on white label content, it doesn't have to be 100% your face, your hands, your everything. You can leverage this content, infuse where it's important, your expertise, and then allow other experts to help your audience. And you will look like a rock star. You'll be able to offer them what they're needing to be successful. And that's what they want ultimately.
I will liken this to interdisciplinary care, right? As a dietitian, I can't help do turnkey services with my clients. If they have diabetes, they need to be seeing an endocrinologist for that, right? Because that endocrinologist has a subset of expertise that I don't have. And so if you really position Living Plate RX, those white labeled materials, as part of your interdisciplinary care, then it's really just a mindset shift. It almost isn't as if you don't have to explain it. And like Stephanie said, you do look like a rock star because you have access to, top experts in the country for this culinary content. So yeah, I love that, Stephanie. That's really great advice. And I will also say, Stephanie, your team, this is like a little yaya session for string marketing. Honestly, when the practitioners who have brought you on to brand the white labeled content, that's the experience. When you talk about a user experience, that's what you want. Your consumers really aren't going to care who's doing that cooking video, right? It's just that, wow, these cooking videos are amazing and they're helping me bring this food to life in my kitchen, right? So,
and all the resources and everything. And so when you're considering using this content, don't let it hold you back that you feel like you have to have every single piece 100% created with your hands and the videos, because that can take a lot of time. Chef's course
Yeah.
alone has like 84 videos.
Yeah.
So that is and hands and pans videos alone those are very difficult to create. And
Yeah.
so use those videos as they are, and then brand them in the beginning and the end. And then those courses, say you're a gut expert and you want the FODMAP one to be you. There's only 4 introductory videos to that, and then there's some recipe videos for that. And so when it comes to the shorter courses that are like the 4 modules, those are doable. Four videos for you to create with a slide deck is much more doable. But say FODMAP's not your niche expertise, it's okay to allow other experts to be delivering that content.
Exactly.
But it can still be branded in the beginning and in slides, like intro and exit slides for you. And that's a great way to be able to quickly get content out there, quickly add value to your existing clients, or get new clients in the door with these offerings without taking a ton of time. I think that's a really important thing for people to realize, that you don't have to take months and months, because it could take a long time to try to get all that content wrangled around.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I would say it's okay to keep it simple and get it out there and get it to your clients and let it be helpful.
Yeah. And it's simple because you have access to all the content, right? And so you can edit it. And the thing is, courses can be dynamic, right, Stephanie? I mean, they can put out one version of the course and then improve it. I actually we are refreshing. So I test all of my consumer facing courses, and I've had a bunch out there for a while, but we're refreshing them all. Guess what? I'm going to reach out to that list, and I'm not going to charge them anything more. They've already paid for the course. I'm going to give them access again. And I'm going to say, we've refreshed this course, so many new things to help support you. Please take this course again, or, dive in again, at your leisure. Right. And I know what response I'm going to get. They're going to be totally appreciative, because the response was so positive with the first course that I just feel like I need to send it out to them. So it can be dynamic. You can evolve with your course delivery. Okay. The next thing we wanted to talk about is marketing your course. So you've got your brand solid. You've taken your Living Plate RX courses. You've gotten them in either your EHR or your LMS, which is a learning management system, like a Kajabi or a Teachable. And String Marketing has branded it for you. So you are like ready to go. So Stephanie, what are the other things that come with marketing a course? I mean, you just don't put a course on your website and be like, I'm done, right? Okay.
Right.
So tell us, inform us.
Yes. A big misconception is, a lot of people think, well, if I build it, they will come. That's just not true. Sorry. It would be great if that was the case, if you could just list it on your website and people are coming to it. But that doesn't happen. So the first question I ask is, who do you have access to? Who do you have access to right now to launch your course? So that's one audience. So do you already have a list? Do you have previous clients? Do you have access to even to other people's audiences? So think about it in these terms. So for instance, Jeannie and I collaborate. I'm talking to you guys right now. You're her audience. You know what I mean? That is
do you know how many emails Stephanie and I each get like every day? So like Stephanie's clients are reaching out to me and my clients are reaching out to Stephanie. Exactly. And it's so cool. It's great.
Yes.
It's great.
Right. Because we're serving the same audience. So that's an excellent. Strategic partnerships are really, really an overlooked part of marketing strategies in practices. So you can look at other strategic if you're a local practice and there are chiropractors where you might be a value added to their services, or other practitioners, obviously doctors, things like that. We want to have referrals from them. They're harder sometimes to really get their ear. But look for other strategic who is serving that same audience, who has a heart that's similar to yours for that audience, and that you can partner up with and say, hey, let's deliver some cool stuff together and give you a chance to be in front of them. So think about strategic partnerships.
Can I make a recommendation? Can I? Because only
yes, please.
Experience on what you just said. So I've done all of that, right? So I've with practitioners and then also with physicians, and I first found collaborative partners who had, and now I'm talking like from a practitioner point of view. So B2C, business to consumer. So I would reach out to food is medicine doctors who I know are active on social media. They're food is medicine practitioners, because that's kind of my target referring practitioner. And I reached out and I said, would you like to do like a live cooking demo with me? And they're like, oh, but I don't want to cook. I'm like, no, you don't. You do the talking. I'll do the cooking. Literally nobody ever said no.
Right.
They all said
Right.
yes.
Because that's like
Why
a huge,
is so
right.
cool? Because in those collaborative partnerships, I'm bringing value, right? So you can't just say, hey, let's collaborate. What are you going to do? Right. And I think live events are terrific. Speaking like we are today is awesome, but really you need to bring some like unbelievable value for that physician to take, 30 minutes out of their day, or somebody from their team out of their day to come live with you. But it benefits you both. And then you can build your audience. And I'm not just talking about followers on Instagram. It has nothing to do with that. You do a cooking demo with all the recipes and say, link in my bio to get the recipes. Right. Then they go to the link in the bio. They got to enter their email address. So I actually, Stephanie, have that entire process in our library for practitioners. How do you collect emails from live events?
Yes.
So it's in your masterclass.
Yes.
So anyhow,
I love that. There's some really great tools to be able to do that.
Yeah.
Yes, that's the second thing that I would say. Okay, one, who are we talking to, right?
Yeah.
And how are we going to reach them? There needs to be some boots on the ground stuff happening. And then from there, what's your call to action? It needs to be simple. It needs to be actionable. It needs to be quick to consume. It needs to be something that's so related to what you're speaking about that they're just like, yep. Oh, I need that. I want to print that out. I need that. Right.
But it's not buy my course.
No, it's not buy my course. It's free. It's free.
Yeah. Let's just be clear here. Yeah. Like if you are starting a partnership, and we're actually covering this right now, which is, existing audience versus cold audience. If you have a warm audience, you can potentially sell your course directly to them. But what Stephanie and I were talking about is how do you build your audience if your audience is already smaller? How do you address a cold audience? And I keep saying this over and over again, just deliver value, and people will come to that. So deliver value in cooking demos, like everybody, they really like that kind of stuff. So, so building.
And you'd be really surprised what a gold nugget somebody might be. It can be the simplest thing. So sometimes we think, oh gosh, it'd be, if I really wanted to give my expertise to somebody, I had to give them like so much stuff. No, you don't. No. Just one gold nugget. One helpful tidbit that makes their day better. Maybe it makes, give them an morning action plan that will help them not be more tired in the afternoon. Like just simple things, quick to consume. And so don't underestimate the value of the advice that you give all the time to your clients that works, right? So that's okay to lead with that. And so you want your call to action. And then of course, after that, after you have your audience, you have your call to action. After that, what is it that you're doing? Obviously you want to build rapport with that audience. So you want to feed them continuously. You're not just going to go right for the sale. You're going to, give them your expertise. It's okay. Put information out there, continue to help them. And then following up with your sale, like your ask, of what you're trying to sell. So you build that rapport. It's, I like to think about it like it's kind of like dating. You don't ask somebody to maybe dinner right away or when you first meet them, but you might ask them for coffee and then you kind of maybe go to dinner. You know what I mean? So you want to increase that ask as you're going and get their buy-in along the way, because every opportunity your client has to take action to engage with you is another step of trust and building that relationship. So you want to look for those markers, whether it's following you on social, first getting on your email list, maybe it's following you on social, maybe a smaller item purchase and then a bigger item purchase. You want to think about that gradual progression for your clients and getting them engaged and trusting. So that's in a snapshot kind of how we approach an overall marketing plan.
That is evidence-based marketing plan, right? So I know that's something that is a phrase that really resonates with my community, that it's evidence-based. And it's true, building these nurture sequences, taking somebody from like not knowing you at all to marriage, right? Yes. Think about that, all the things that you have to do in between. And it's kind of like a funnel, right? From top to bottom. But if you put it sideways and you did an overlay with health behavior change theory, where people are in pre-contemplation and then they move along to action and maintenance, it's the same thing. That's it's like so
building trust. That's what sales is.
Building trust. You're never going to, I shouldn't say never, but almost never going to sell your course to somebody who's not even thinking about making that kind of a change, right? Or that transformation that you're promising. So yeah, get them in and nurture. We provide you, Living Play RX, with all that content along the way. And of course, Stephanie, you provide nurturing sequences, email sequences.
Yes, absolutely. And I would like to just mention too, I'm a big fan of, there's no cookie cutter way to do your marketing plan. The best marketing strategy is the one you're going to follow through with. And so there are a ton of tactics out there to leverage. There's blogging, there's social, there's strategic partnerships, there's ads, there's all these things. And whatever you're going to be able to follow through with or have other people help you with is going to be your best course of action, because an undone marketing plan is going to do nothing for you. And so if you try to take on too much, and I do see practitioners trying to take on too much, like I have to do all of these things. Focus down. What are you actually going to be able to accomplish? Really, having one, I like to just think of 3 sources of leads as kind of, like what are the most viable 3 sources of leads we can get cooking with the amount of time and resources that you have. So think realistically about it. I think that's really important as well.
Okay. I'm just typing something in here because I forgot. And I know that this is really important to our audience. So you talked a little bit about social media as a means to kind of, develop that relationship with people, know, like, and trust. And you don't, I know that everybody's heard this enough that they do believe it. Now, you don't need a large following to even have a multi-million-dollar business. It's not necessary unless you're an influencer. If you are an influencer, you're on the wrong webinar. So
right. There's different parts of the market for sure.
There's different parts of the market. This is not about being an influencer on social media. But as practitioners, and I do understand the frustration with having to be, you do need to be present on social media, because that's the first place your cold lead is going to go. Like, let me see what they have to offer. And it'll help your message, especially if you infuse yourself. And I'm going to talk about this after you and I speak, Stephanie, infusing yourself into your content. For example, you could do a reel with an image and text. Sure. But if you show up on that reel, and I know for some of us to take like an hour to get ready, FYI me, like it's a heavy lift sometimes, right? And it can be a burden, but it's so necessary. You need to show up, you need to be in front of them. You need to show them you care and deliver messages of value, on social media. So I did want to transition our conversation a little bit to social media, because I would say right after meal planning, social media is the albatross around dietitians next. We all know we have to do it. It's like this, it's just such a burden, but we do have to do it. So why don't you tell us a little bit about, social media support, of course, that you are going to be offering our community, but also kind of strategies and why it's important. There's a lot of talk in our community about hiring virtual assistants to manage their social media accounts. Why perhaps might we not want to do that as a nutrition professional?
Yeah, so really important to understand the difference between the levels of your expectations from anybody that you're hiring. VAs can be really, really great, but unless you can find a unicorn, you probably won't find somebody that can do design, content, scheduling, understand the strategy, understand your business, all of those things. That is a very high level or high skill set of expectation from a VA. What you can expect from a VA is more of anything that you could describe and put into a checklist. And they do it the same way every single time. That is something where you can consistently get the same kind of value out of a VA. So scheduling social posts, potentially taking a certain amount of content and organizing it for you, organizing assets for you, communicating with other contractors, whether it be a designer or content. But if you have ready-made content already, you don't have to worry about that, which is terrific. But the higher level is what you need. So earlier I was talking about design. Let's just talk about design for a really quick second. So for your brand, you want to have a cohesiveness across your platforms, right? You don't want to be just taking random images or even white label images and just putting them up there
Right.
as is. You need to have that in your brand, and having an approach to social when it comes to your brand and how that is cohesive with your website is really important. That's a trust touch point. You don't want things to look disjointed or off, and so everything that you're saying and everything that you're doing, you want it to look cohesive. So from a design standpoint, you need to have somebody who would be able to understand that. That is much more than just knowing how to use Canva.
Yeah. Can I show an example? Can I do a screen share?
Yes, please,
Because
please.
it really it illustrates what you're talking about. So we have tons of community members who are really getting this right, and even more since I published the Nutrition Content Creation Academy. A lot of our practitioners are really getting how to transition that white labeled content. Because remember, for those of you who are new here, Living Plate RX does provide mountains of like done for you social media posts, but you can't, like Stephanie said, you don't just copy and paste those. So let me just share my screen here because let me just see here, share my screen, window, the Chrome tab. There we go. Constance, I don't know what kind of support she has in doing this, but I got to tell you,
beautiful.
Constance is nailing it. And this is another reason why you want, and I feel like you definitely want an RD managing your social media because you're dealing with really sensitive health information. So this is white label content from our library. I know that literally nobody else would know that because Constance does such an amazing job. Look at this. Stay healthy while traveling. Like it's a whole carousel that we provided her with. She added all of her own imagery that speaks to her audience. She created some fresh content here, like just even the videos. Here's a video that she did, that she posted, that again, the imagery is just a little bit different, but the inside video is the same. So there are a lot of creative ways that you did you see that? You were able to see that, right?
Yes.
A lot of creative ways that, let me just remove that you can show up with your brand while still using white labeled content.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I just want to point out that was an excellent example. So obviously the colors and the fonts were predetermined. When we're approaching a social plan and getting that design piece down, we start with like, what's the image style going to be? How are we going to treat, if it's a photo, how do we treat that photo? Is it a gradient over it? What is it? What are some marks that we might consistently use? You'll notice Constance had her URL on the bottom of some of those images, and that was a fairly consistent thing that people could identify. The other piece is, if you notice, she's using the same artwork style on her images. That might be something you might not notice, but you can't just pick random stuff all over. It's like, okay, this is my image style. This is my icon style. Stay within that. And that is worth, if you need an illustrator, you need to get some of those pieces in there. It's worth building those assets because that is your brand. So from a visual standpoint, that's one piece, but then have that expert RD help when you're shifting the content to be within your expertise. We were just talking the other day about a client that we're working with who focuses more on the beauty aspect of nutrition, and and whatnot. And so we were talking about, well, how would we take something and maybe infuse something that has to, like, what is the effects on the skin? Or what are the effect, the different things like that. And so having an RD that understands the science behind things and can take this evidence-based content, put in just a few bullet points even that are very specific to your business, completely transforms that post into a branded post. And
here's another example.
That's where you want that level of expertise.
Can you see this one,
yes.
Stephanie? Okay, so 55 healthy PCOS snack ideas. Like, if you are someone who is touched by PCOS, this is high value content. 55 snack ideas. That's amazing.
Huge.
And so, Maggie Connolly, another practitioner in our group, does a really good job. She does a lot of live events, by the way, if you want to check out her Instagram account. And so she is a recent member actually, and just really dove headfirst into all of the content. And this is one of the unique pieces of content that she came up with. So I just wanted to show that to everybody too. So so not just the imagery, but also the content, and the content being number one, evidence-based, number two, speaking to your ideal customer, which Stephanie just alluded to. And number 3, speaking to their problems, their internal problems. What are you frustrated with? If you're touched by PCOS, are you frustrated with trying to find snacks that can help stabilize your blood sugar and hormones? Probably. So here's Maggie to save the day, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, hi.
Right.
Stephanie.
That's exactly it.
Okay, Heather and Stephanie just joined us. Great. Jen is saying, which Instagram account was that? So it's Constance Brown Riggs. That's, and if you just search Constance Brown Riggs, she'll come up. And then this is Maggie. It's a PCOS dietitian. So the one that I just showed you. Yeah. So really, really good examples of how taking your brand and scaling it through social media the right way. Was there anything else that you wanted to cover, Stephanie, with the social media aspect of it, with, you know, the imagery, the brand colors, the fonts you talked about, and then also the content there? Is there anything else you want to talk about?
Yeah. So I think to just recap, I think if you look at all those aspects, how important the visual style is, and how important it is to infuse your brand into these, where you're giving again, going back to those gold nuggets, just try to one little gold nugget per post and highlight that, you know, try to capture. Nobody's going to understand that better than another RD. To be able to do that. And so having somebody help, or having somebody who's an expert in content. And so we are working right now to, we're working together. So we know Jeannie has the wonderful evidence-based content. We have the skills to be able to get that, schedule it, change it, brand it, all of those kind of pieces. And so what we're doing right now, really excited, is working on collaborating with a dedicated RD for doing exactly that for you, taking the white label content and taking your brand and design and our expertise on positioning and marketing, and putting it all together in one package where you can have a monthly retainer, having somebody help you. What our goal is that we have that person that we know you all want. So I've hired a lot of RDs. I've hired a lot of people in my lifetime, and
definitely lots of hearts, lots and lots of hearts coming through here.
right, good.
Really excited.
That's
Social
terrific.
media support, please, like yesterday, right? And
that's the thing. You don't want to have to touch it so much. You don't want to have to, you know, with a lot of VAs, you're really having to manage that person quite a bit. And so what we're working to do, and what we want to offer, is where it's the least amount of touch from you. You might review things to the level of your comfort and whatnot, but that you can really trust this information going out, so you can kind of set it and forget it when it comes to your social, and then be able to go on and infuse your own unique stuff when you're able to, but you know your social has some pulse and some continual stuff going out, so you're not having to worry about that. So that's what we're putting that together. We do have an interest page. I'll shoot that in the comments after we're done here, but I'll shoot that in the comments, a link to express your interest in that. It has a few questions on there just so that we understand where you're coming from, and we can craft that for you guys. So that's coming this month.
Really exciting. And just she is a master's level registered dietitian, so she's an MSRD. She completed the social media course at Cornell University, their online social media course, which is great. So this is our way of really answering the need of our community, because we've just had so many people saying this content is great, because every month they get tons of social media content in their content drop. And really that execution piece just seems to be getting people hung up. Same thing with the courses, right, Stephanie, where we have the courses.
Exactly. Well, and on our end, the pain point is, like, for us to create all brand new content, evidence-based content, it's expensive to have a marketing company do that from scratch. And so that's where this partnership is terrific, because it's like Jeannie's creating, we can be confident in taking that content, that it's evidence-based, and then shifting it to the brand and infusing what's needed there. And so that's why, this is just a beautiful partnership.
It just makes sense. I mean, it really is, being a private practice dietitian initially, it is cost prohibitive to hire a marketing company to create everything from scratch. And the thing is, you'd have to find a marketing company that has a registered dietitian, because it has to be evidence-based. So somebody is saying, Debbie is saying, I've been frustrated with trying to use VAs. Like, look, I think there are all different levels of VAs, and certainly there are VAs who are social media marketing experts, but I still firmly believe that you need to have an RD modifying your content, because only an RD is going to be looking at it through the same lens as you. right?
Yes.
So in order, like Stephanie said, like if you're going to have
Mhm.
somebody do your social media marketing management, you want to be as
Mhm.
hands-off as possible.
Yes.
Like, no kidding. Like,
Yeah.
get your brand solid. You've got your content. And then I would say, probably after 2 months, and Stephanie, I love the word that you used, pulse.
Yes, a pulse. You want to have a pulse.
The pulse of like, and it
Yep.
doesn't.
You want to look living.
Yeah, like sometimes people are, probably look at my Instagram account, although most people don't really care. But
I do.
sometimes I'll go 10 days without posting because I'm just so busy. But
Cobbler shoes here.
I'm going to be a customer, by the way. So it's really important to have some type of a pulse, and whether it's one or 2 times a week or 5 times a week, it's really important to have that pulse. Before we move on to courses,
and can I just in one little thing from an outside perspective, outside of the RD world and in my marketing world with my colleagues and other agency owners, things like that, it is different. You guys have a different kind. You're working in practices, and you're working with medical, health, nutrition. Evidence-based is really important, obviously, but it is the delivery of it is different, and the level of understanding about your brand and your content and the boundaries is so important. So as a marketing company that works exclusively with you guys, content is difficult to come. It is hard to find a good content writer in these. You can't just, you go out there and you hear a lot of other marketers say, well, just do this and do this and do this. And that's really easy if you're just selling a sports drink. That's really easy if you're just selling other things, but you're selling yourself, you're selling your services, your expertise. And this is a touchy area. It's very, very highly scrutinized. And so, to think, a VA can do all of that for you, it's just not possible. It's just not possible. Believe me, if I did it, I'd be running everything on VAs. That's just not, it's just not happening. We have to have experts.
Stacy is saying, I need help with writing captions for IG. So Stephanie, I sure hope you know how to access your captions in your library, because we already wrote them for you. So
They're already done.
Yeah, they're already done. And so Stacy, if you look inside of your social media posts in Canva, there's a little notes tab on the bottom. You just click that notes button and the caption will open up. So for the social media posts that you have access to in your Living Plate RX library, the captions are already done. So what you can do is edit them. It's a whole lot easier to edit captions than to start from scratch. But Stacy, even if you wanted to create your own content, it was so interesting, Stephanie, somebody had posted and I'm going to be talking about this when you and I are done, talking about reels, right? Like, how do I come up with content ideas for reels? Or I want to do a live cooking demo. How do I come up with content ideas? I literally took 5 minutes. I went into a content collection, let's just say nutrition for, PCOS. We'll just go with that topic. And just open up the facilitator's guide. So Stacy, there's tons and tons and tons of content there that you can copy and paste. And, like the top 4 food toxins to avoid to help manage your hormones. Like, just copy it and paste it into a caption, and then create, a hook, and then give your caption, and then you have your call to action, because every social media post, Stacy, has to have a hook, a caption, and a call to action. So just keep that in mind. Okay. So we've got,
and I would say too, if you're having a hard time picking what to use from the library, if we're creating content from scratch, we start from a vantage point of they ask, you answer, right? So what are your clients asking you? Perfect. You know what I mean? Just take the little, like, what are you being asked all the time? What seems to be a theme that people are concerned about right now? Those kind of things, and just breeze through that library and let it catch your eye and pull that. That's it. That's what you're going to post. You know what I mean? That's what you're going to use. Yeah.
Great advice. Okay. So before I let you go, because we're going to move on to some frequently asked questions in the past 2 weeks on our Facebook page, please give us an update on the courses. So just refresher for everybody who's listening and who might not be a member. We have these done for you nutrition courses. Right now, I have 25 done, and we create about 4 new whole courses every year for you. Stephanie and her team are taking these courses and putting them in different places. So Stephanie, why don't you give us an update on where we're loading them and kind of what it will look like?
Yes. So, and I'll share links with you after this. There's a few different things that I'm going to mention here. So one, we are loading the courses into Practice Better and Healthy as white label to be able to push them to your Practice Better or Healthy account at no charge to you. If you are a Living Plate Prime member, you can get access to these. And the way in which you sign up for that, we have a form on our website, on the String Marketing website. We're doing this as a service for you, for Jeannie and for you guys. And you put your information in there and you will get an email with whatever links are available right now. And the links that are available immediately are Chefs and Metabolism. At the end of this week, we are going to have the transition to a plant-focused diet, optimal immunity, and then a nutrition and lifestyle change for pre-diabetes. Those are all going to be done by the end of this week. So Chefs and Metabolism, they're ready right now. If you're waiting for those other 3 courses, they're going to be done by the end of the week, and we'll be pushing those out to anybody who's already expressed interest in those, and then anybody new who is signing up, of course. And that will be in both Practice Better and Healthy. So Practice Better, you will get an email with a, they call it a link. It doesn't really look like a link, but it's like it's a text string that you then import into Practice Better. And then all the white label content is ready for you. You just have to go through and customize it for yourself. So that's there. Now, what we're doing as a service outside, that you can hire us separately, is to brand all of those videos and materials for you. And I'm going to just show you. Is it okay, Jeannie, if I just take a moment, show them what that looks like quickly?
Please. Let me stop my screen share. I think, can you share your screen?
I hope let me try here. I'm going to. Let me see.
Okay, let's see
I'm
here.
just going to. Oh,
I think it's all the way at the bottom. Do you see it?
It is down there. It's just asking me to do this and this and this and that before I do it.
In the meantime, I'll answer your question. So when will we be able to upload to Teachable? So that is a question for Stephanie and her team.
Yeah.
So can you tell us about that? So we do have practitioners who are using LMS services, so learning management systems. Go ahead.
Yes, absolutely. So I'm going to try to do this now here. Are you guys able to see this?
I can't see it. No.
It's not doing it. I don't know why it's not doing it. Sorry.
What it's okay. What are you trying to share?
Okay. So when I talk about the other LMS systems, are you able to bring up just the practice? Let's just look at the Practice Better account and then open up the Chef so I can direct you. Sorry. I think it's asking me to change preferences and stuff. So sorry about that. So other LMS systems. So there are a lot. Currently, Practice Better, Healthy, love them. They've created a way for us to easily share. So Practice Better, it looks like a link that you'll get in the email that we would send you. Healthy is actually where we would manually go in and put your Healthy email and push that to your account. Kajabi has something similar. It's not as easy, but it's possible to be able to import courses into that particular platform. Teachable right now does not have that capability. So
what about Thinkific? Somebody's asking about
Thinkific. Yeah, Thinkific doesn't necessarily.
But they could hire your team to upload them to Thinkific. Okay. So
so Teachable, Thinkific, we can do the branding of the courses in any of the platforms, in any of these platforms that we're talking about. We'll brand it, set it up for you within the platform so that it is all ready to go. And Jeannie, if you share your screen with the Practice Better, I'll show you what an example of a branded course looks like. We have a I should have tested this year. I apologize.
It was the Practice Better wasn't opening for me. I thought that I had saved my sign-in information, but it wasn't working for me.
Let me see. I'm going to try one more time.
Try one more time.
For whatever reason, it just doesn't want to allow us to do this here today. Well, this is what I'm going to do too. So
can you drop the links? So just to kind of move things along, because we're running out of time.
I'm going to drop the links for you in there. So the Course Complete is the service that we do to brand the courses and load them for you. I'm also going to share the link for you to express your interest in social services. If you're looking for help with social media, then you would be the first to know when we launch. And the other link I'm going to share is the link for you to enter your information so that we can push the white label content to your Practice Better or Healthy account. Currently, we're not pushing it to any of the other platforms unless you're doing Course Complete, but the Practice Better and Healthy, those are all set. We can push them to your accounts today. you just sign up for it. So I'll share those links in the comments here after.
Perfect. And a bunch of questions about Kajabi and Thinkific and Teachable. And just again, to clarify, if you have a Healthier Practice Better account, we will send you the links free, the white labeled links, which means just the course duplicated for you. And inside of the white labeled course, it has instructions for you on how you brand it. You can then hire String Marketing if you'd like to brand it free, which Stephanie put together such a generous package. Like, I think it's foolish not to hire them, because you'll spend so much time and waste so much money doing it yourself. Just have String brand it for you. For Thinkific, Teachable, and Kajabi, you don't have access to that free white label link because there is none, but you can hire String, again, at a very reasonable price, to upload those for you. So super excited. And thank you, Stephanie, again, for being so generous with just such fabulous pricing on doing that. And you can even like upload 3 courses at a time. So it's very, very cool.
Yeah, we have different packages.
So I think we actually are done with our conversation, Stephanie.
Terrific. Thank you so much for having me, Jeannie. It was really wonderful talking with you.
You're going to go into Facebook. I actually already posted the links inside of YouTube. So anybody who's watching there will have access. But if you could, inside of our private Facebook group, which is called Scale Your Nutrition Practice. So if you're interested in joining us at Scale Your Nutrition Practice, you can apply to be a member of our community there. And Stephanie will drop those links in. Okay.
Awesome.
So
Thanks
for those
so much,
of you who are still on, stay with me. I'm going to do some Q&A, frequently asked questions here now. Stephanie, thank you again so much for joining me. Okay. Take care.
Bye, everyone. Thanks. Bye.
Okay. So, wow, that was great, right? Stephanie's always such a great guest, just really valuable content. So I dropped the links in, but I don't think our Facebook group is seeing them. So just give Stephanie a couple of minutes and she'll get those links in for you to, number one, access the free courses inside of Healthy and inside of Practice Better. And then number two, to, next level, to brand those courses for you in both your EHR or the learning management system of your choice. Okay, Barbara's saying, can you show the link for the demo course later? Yes, absolutely. Yeah, we can do that. And in fact, I believe that Stephanie is embedding a video of that branded course on one of the pages that she's giving you. So I think you'll actually be able to see it there. Okay, so let's go ahead and move through our Q&A here. Somebody is asking me about Maggie Conley's, hold on, and it's so great. I want you guys to be able to see her Instagram page. So let me just pull that up again. I think it's PCOS. Yes, it's your your.pcos.dietitian. Your.pcos.dietitian. And it's Maggie Connolly. You can check out what she's been doing now. It's really awesome. All right. Changing your company name. That's funny. Okay. Let me just fix that really quickly. So changing your company name. So we have quite a few people who are going through a rebranding process and they're changing their company name and they want to change the URL vanity ID. A vanity ID is just a piece of text inside of your URL, right? So the link that takes all people to your meal plans, that vanity ID identifies the URL as belonging to you, right? So your clients are signing up for, a flex plan and it's going to have your vanity ID in there to make sure that they get to you. We control that on the admin side, only because we believe that it probably would create a lot of confusion if we just opened it up. You can edit your email address and you can edit, I actually believe you can edit your company name, but that vanity ID we need to do. And the reason why is because if you've been using a certain vanity ID for a number of years and then you switch it, all the people who have links prior to that point, those links won't work because the vanity ID has changed. So we just want to make sure that you really understand that when you're changing your vanity ID. And if you are setting up a new Living Plate RX Prime account, make sure that you select a vanity ID that is consistent with your brand. You can use an acronym. If your private practice, like mine, is a pretty short one, it's called Living Plate. I just dropped in Living Plate in there. But if it's a longer one, you can use an acronym. It's not a problem. Most people don't even look at the URL. Agatha has a question. Is there a way to change the font in Canva at the beginning of the cooking videos? I was able to add my logo. Yeah. So Agatha, what I recommend that you do is create with your font and your imagery. And this is actually what String Marketing does for our members for all of their videos inside their courses. Again, inside Chefs, there's more than 80 videos. You can create an image, a ping image that has your imagery, your font, whatever text you want, and you can drop it into the video inside Canva. Move it to the front so that it becomes the intro. I recommend if you're going to change the intro, also change the outro, and then just clip. You're just going to slide the scale on either side of the video. You're just going to slide it to clip out my intro. It's simple as that. So remove my intro, insert yours. That's the best thing to do. You cannot edit text inside of cooking videos. We are increasingly really sensitive to the text that we're using inside of videos to make it as flexible as possible. For example, if we put almond milk, for example, in a recipe and your client has an almond allergy, I mean, obviously they'd know to change it out. You'd hope so. But we're also going to type in like or alternative, right? So whenever we can do that, we will if we have space in there. Mimi is saying super helpful. Thank you. Okay, great. You're welcome. So changing your company name, we have to do it. How to deliver content to clients as PDFs. So we had a question in the Facebook group about deliver. I think it was from Michelle Tasker about how do you deliver, what's the best way to deliver PDFs to clients? I think the best way to deliver PDFs to clients if you're doing one-on-one counseling is through your EHR. You can edit a piece of content in Canva with your brand and infuse your brand philosophy and your colors, download it as a PDF and upload it as a document to your EHR like Healthy or Practice Better. Then it's there to just issue. Then you can scale it like that. It'll save you time so that you're not downloading for every customer. So that's a great thing to do. You can also do the same process of branding and editing it, download it as a PDF and upload it to a Google folder. You can do that as well, or a Dropbox folder, and then you can share that document with clients. My preference would be to kind of keep it all in one place, and the EHR is a really smart place to store that content. If you are sending an email and you want to say, 4 food toxins to avoid to help manage your hormones, I brought that up before. You can, again, edit that content, download it as a PDF, upload it to Google Drive. And when you upload a PDF to Google Drive, it automatically creates a shareable link. So the one thing that you have to keep in mind is that you have to go into the link share settings because it will be private unless you make it public. So you really should make it anyone with the link. And then in your email newsletter, your call to action is click here for download. And you assign that link right behind that CTA, that call to action. So click here to download your resource, nice, valuable, free resource. And then it's a link to Google Drive and they will automatically get that. You really shouldn't try and attach PDFs to emails because they tend to go to spam and it also can slow delivery. Okay, Caroline is saying this is such amazing info for us. Oh, you're welcome, Caroline. Or Carolyn, thank you for joining me. That's great. Okay, so I just gave you a bunch of options and ways to deliver PDFs. And, you can do the standard or print version of PDF. The print version is a bit of a bigger file, but it's nicer looking and it can be used for multiple things. Cooking demo topics and recipes. Similar to the conversation that we had when Stacy asked the question about social media captions, it's really the same process. So you want to pick, if you are going to do a virtual cooking demo, your first resource is inside of the library. You're going to go to business tools and you're going to look at 2 things: the guide to delivering virtual cooking demos, because there I review literally everything, soup to nuts. Like when I set up in my kitchen, what does it look like? What materials am I using? How do I pick my recipes? What technology am I using? So that's really the first place that you're going to go to. The second document that I just uploaded, so this is new news, wasn't planned, but we had enough questions about it these past 2 weeks that I thought I have it. So It's a document that I refer to when I'm doing a cooking demo. So I just uploaded it, and it's called Considerations for Delivering Live Programming. So it does consider, it talks about considerations for not just live demos like on social media, but also if you're delivering a live cooking demo as part of a course, which I really encourage that you try and do. The more you infuse yourself into a course, the higher the value that course is going to be and the better experience for your clients. Yes, use all of the cooking videos that you have access to, but maybe do a live demo maybe once a week inside of your course. So those two resources will take you through how to select your cooking demo topic. Your cooking demo topic is going to refer back to your ideal customer avatar and what problem are you solving for them. Right? So for great example, Maggie Connolly posted your ultimate guide to, 55 snack ideas for people who are touched by PCOS. So if I'm going to do a live cooking demo with that audience, I'm going to do three recipes to help you manage your PCOS. And I also walk you through what types of recipes you should select, because that is really important and can determine the success and the outcome of your virtual cooking demo. If you try and do like 3 cook recipes, which I've made that mistake before, believe me, it's overwhelming and it can become like a hot mess. You end up looking like Julia Child in the kitchen with the chicken. I know that we all know that video reference. So you want to pick recipes that fit in 3 categories. You have a cook, a no cook, right? So maybe like a stir fry or a sheet pan dinner. A no cook, like an overnight oats or a chia pudding or a smoothie, and then an assembly recipe. An assembly recipe is a recipe that has some pre-cooked items like brown rice or quinoa, or pre-roasted vegetables. Really, like leveraging leftovers is typically the conversation I have around that. And that those kind of come together really easily. And you can get 3 recipes done in an hour if you kind of follow that formula. So that formula is inside of that considerations for delivering cooking demos, and that is available to you inside of your library. And in terms of selecting recipes, I also talk about this inside of that guide, that you want to select recipes that operationalize what you talk about in the content, right? If you're talking about recipes for PCOS, then you're cooking for PCOS, and you are going to want recipes that have ingredients that reflect the evidence behind PCOS, right? So we take the evidence, we select recipes that reflect the evidence, and then we build out meal plans, right? And this is kind of working the opposite way, right? You're delivering the virtual presentation on this topic. You're going to pick your recipes, and then you're going to select those ingredients that reflect the evidence. So let's just say red pepper, for example. It's a great vegetable, by the way, to demonstrate because it's pretty easy and clean. And there's a great tip that you can show people on how to chop a red pepper. For every recipe, so let's say you have 3 recipes, you want to demonstrate about 3 different skills, knife skills, how to supreme a grapefruit, how to cut an avocado, how to chop a pepper, how to chop an onion. Nobody, and we've all been there, we have all been to either a cooking class or a virtual live event where the person is doing everything from scratch. Spare your audience. Nobody wants to see you chop an onion 3 times, or just going through so many overwhelming skills. Prep a recipe until, so that it's really easy for you, and then pick one thing to demonstrate for that recipe. If you're just doing one recipe as part of your life, then pick 3 things to demonstrate. You do not need to prepare everything in the recipe. I just remember I'm thinking about this one cooking class that I went to. It was live. It literally didn't end until like 12:30 at night because the woman who was teaching the class prepped everything, then cooked it, and then served us. It's too much. So refer back to those guides, and it'll save you a lot of time. And it'll also give you a lot more confidence, which is my goal for you and my hope for you, that you will get that out of that guide. Okay, so selecting cooking demo topics and recipes, go to your business tools and you'll find some resources there. Posting, we have 2 more things to cover. So posting meal plan offers. We get a lot of questions about, how do I post my meal plans? How do I offer my meal plans? I'll share with you my philosophy, and then I'll just kind of give you the technology behind it, right? So my recommendation to you is that you incorporate meal plans into offers. You can, and there are plenty of people who just sell meal plans, But the people who are successful at scaling their business, like really earning money just selling meal plans, are people who already have a super engaged, large audience. So if you take our meal plans and you put them on your website on a meal plan tab, you're going to get a good amount of traffic, but you're not going to get thousands and thousands of people buying your meal plans. You're going to get a certain percentage of the people who visit your website to opt into your meal plans. So it really has to do, it's a numbers game, right? So if you have thousands or millions of people visiting your website every month, then yes, definitely get a meal plan tab up there and sell it. But for most of us, it really does mean incorporating those meal plans into your practice. And then let's say you incorporate the meal plan into a package, for example, that you're offering on Healthy or on Practice Better. It's a 3-month package. When that package is over, your clients can opt into purchasing, an extension for the meal plan. So that's when you can offer meal plans as a standalone. But initially, for like cold audience, again, incorporating is much, much better. Oh, hi, Kathy. Welcome. Thank you for joining me. Okay. Reels resources, lots of questions. Oh, maybe I'll just share. I'm going to do a screen share and I think I have it. Let me just open it up. So we've gotten a lot of questions about, here it is. Let me just open this up for you. A lot of questions about Reels. I am not a Reels expert. I do not have Reels that go viral, but my Reels definitely speak to my ideal customer avatar. I have definitely gotten business from Reels. So totally worth it to do. You don't have to do 3 or 4 a day. You can do a few a week, but it really is, like Stephanie said, creating a plan that you can stick to. What I'm going to show you right now is now posted in the Nutrition Content Creation Academy social media section. So the Nutrition Content Creation Academy, let me just, this is the last item here, is now evergreen. So as a member of Living Plate RX Prime, you already have access to Nutrition Content Creation Academy. It is a 4-lesson academy that it's all about the how-to. It's all about the how to use Living Plate RX content. I tell people often that the first reaction our new members have when they enter our library is, oh my gosh, look at all this content. And then the second response, which follows pretty soon after that, is, oh my gosh, look at all this content. What am I going to do with it? What the Academy does is it walks you through step by step how to use the content for a lot of different things. There's a whole section on social media. We have a whole section on educational content and client content. We have a section on corporate content. So the Nutrition Content Creation Academy is a course I created. Again, it is free for people who are in Prime. If you're not a member of Prime, you actually can go through the Nutrition Content Creation Academy. It is a low-priced offer. It is not a membership, and it's a great way to experience Living Plate RX Prime without, being a full member of our community. So we've had a lot of people opt into that too. It's $249. I will drop the link here when we're done. All right, so let me just share, because I just added this to the Academy this morning. Let me just share this sample Reels planner with you. Okay, here we go. All right, let's go to page 1. I just want you to know what it looks like. And, I'm not going to be teaching you how to do Reels because it's always changing. There are people who build their careers on teaching people how to do Reels. And that's not my area of expertise. I can share with you resources and I can share with you kind of my process to make sure that I get enough Reels out there to kind of keep a pulse right on my account. And this is what it looks like. So it's the sample Reels planner, again, inside of Nutrition Content Creation Academy. You'll find it in the social media section. Access to the Academy is in your professional development folder because there are CEUs for my RDs out there, CEUs associated with it. So this is what my planner looks like. I just give you some tips and some content pillars here. This is really valuable right here. So the Instagram accounts that, wait a minute, let me just highlight this here so that you can see it. These are really valuable Instagram accounts to follow. So just, tap into some of them to see who resonates with you and your style, and then follow them because a lot of these accounts are very active on social media and put out daily tips. So for example, Social Sam, I really like her style. She gives really simple tips And if she is sharing a tip that I like, I have an IG tips folder that I save it to on my phone, and I'll copy her. That's what she puts it out for, right? Super high value content that she's putting out there. Kat Karoy, I've actually listed Kat twice here, but you know what? She deserves it. Kat Karoy is amazing. She has a course called Instagram Makeover. She's truly a branding genius. Love Kat. I've done plenty of video testimonials for her. She was really instrumental in helping me get my Instagram account from speaking to consumers to speaking to businesses and health and wellness coaches. So check out Kat Croy, but all of the links are here. So you can just click on here and go there. Virginia Kerr is also great. Anika from Pink Sparrow also. So they're all good. So there are your resources. And then what I posted here is actually a sample of the planner that I use and that my social media support person uses. So typically I'll find a trending sound. Sometimes I do unique sounds as well, which what we're hearing from Instagram is that is becoming more important. An original sound is just like you talking. It doesn't mean you have to create music. It's just you talking. That's considered a unique, an original sound. But if you like a trending sound, as you're scrolling through Instagram, just save them, drop them in here, and then you can build out your scene. Where are you? What content pillar are you talking through? What is the story in text? What emotion are you speaking to? Remember, we talked a little bit at the beginning about internal versus external content. You really want to get to the problems. You have your external problems and your internal problems. Internal problems are the ones that you want to speak to. What are they frustrated with that you want to solve for your clients? So, in this one, my ideal customer who is seeing this is struggling with confidence about offering food as medicine materials and resources to their clients. So, I created a whole post about that, and I type in the caption here, and then my hashtags here. We talk about how to create. Let me just scroll back here. How to create hashtags in Nutrition Content Creation Academy too. How to create a hashtag bank. Let me just go back here. All right. So I don't have to review this anymore. Just go into Nutrition Content Creation Academy, and it is there. Oh, Barbara. Yes, the nutrition assessment is coming, the culinary assessment. So Barbara Holland is asking, let me just come back here and move that. The culinary nutrition assessment is dropping. It's quite robust, Barbara. So I've just asked one of our MSRD contractors to take a look at it and kind of tighten it up a little bit. But yes, that is hitting this month. So in September. So that'll probably it should be done maybe by this Friday or by early next week, Barbara, at the latest. But keep your eyes open for that. It will be posted inside of the content drop, the table of contents in your library. Jen Hagen is asking, how do we access the Academy again? The Academy is in your professional development folder. Inside of your professional development folder, you'll see Nutrition Content Creation Academy. Click on that. Now, Jen, I think you went through the Academy, so all you'll have to do is log in. But if you haven't gone through the Academy yet, you need to generate a free coupon code and then just go to the link and start the Academy. It is drip. If you haven't gone through it before, it drips out once a week for 4 weeks. My recommendation is that you take 8 weeks to go through the entire Academy, or you can just dive into social media first and then, back up and do digital courses or educational content or branding. We take you through an entire kind of brand assessment and branding process that our community found super, super helpful. And also how to get your brand assets into Canva so that branding your LPRX white labeled content becomes really easy. Oh, Michael, welcome. Good to see you here. Agatha has a question. One more question about cooking videos. How can I remove the audio that came with the videos and replace it with a different one? Okay. Yes. So you click on the audio, you click on the video, and then an audio icon in the upper right-hand corner is going to be revealed. You have to mute it. That's all, Agatha. Just mute it and then drop in your sound and download it, and you should be good. So you just need to mute the sound on the original video, and then you can add your own sound. We had an issue with a couple of our licenses. We purchased a license. We purchased license to use all of these audio soundtracks, but one of them, there was some type of a YouTube tag on it and it was getting denied in Instagram. I don't know how that works, but it was, so we just changed it out. Now we're trying to use Canva audios whenever we can, or we upload our licensed content into Canva to make it really, really easy for you. We just assign it so that you can take it off or put it on. So, Agatha, this is a perfect example of us really responding to what our community is telling us. And some members in our community want to change the music. And so we're trying to make it as easy as possible for you. Okay, so are there any other questions? Carolyn, it was so good to see you here. Thank you for joining me. All right, so if there aren't any other questions, we're going to sign off now. This video will live on the platform and also in the private Facebook group. We'll assign a timestamp to it so that if you wanted to, for example, just review the Reels resources or the branding and marketing content that we talked about with Stephanie, you can just go right to that minute inside of the video and find the answer to your question. Thank you again so much for joining me. And as usual, I will be inside the Facebook group if you have any questions, and do watch for those links that Stephanie will be dropping shortly. I will talk to you guys again soon. Thank you so much.